Welcome to the Pinfall Podcast. I am your host, Liz. I am joined, as always, by my co-host.
Thwit.
That's what we call him.
Name's Peter. Peter Parker.
Ida?
Peter Parker. 'Cause I'm from Boston. Because I'm the Wish.com version of Peter Parker. Spider-Man.
Happy almost Halloween. Almost spooky times. How's that costume treating you?
Well, I couldn't zip up the back. So that's just fully open. I also can't use my laptop with this, so I'm working off my desktop right now for my notes and shit. And it's very tight. Very tight.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Happy Smackdown.
Happy Smackdown. So we obviously know what I am. What are you?
Well, in theory, I'm Harley Quinn. But it's only half, because I kept my sweats on today, because I have to wear this tomorrow, so.
You could have not said it, and nobody would have known.
Yeah, but I like to be honest with the people.
Speaking of honesty,
I did, however, realize that I was wearing shorts tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck. I haven't shaved my legs in months.
But speaking of honesty, we should talk about what happened yesterday, or rather, what didn't happen yesterday.
Ooh.
So we had promised that we would be doing our WWE 2K20 stream yesterday. A late version of it, but we got home and forgot. We just straight up forgot, full transparency.
All Mark had on his mind was calzones, so.
Right. So we will be doing 2 streams this coming week for 2K20. One will be on Tuesday immediately after our NXT post show. And the other one will be at the normal time, Wednesday night after Dynamite.
Nemite.
Yes. So look forward to that. We'll be gemming this week full of our faces, or if you're listening in the audio realm, our voices. Yeah.
Can't remember if I said what I was. Did I say what I was?
You said you're Harley Quinn.
Okay, just I remembered that there's going to be an audio version of this, and I was like, you rustling around is not going to be the answer.
But yeah, so look forward to that, and let's just jump right into Smackdown, I guess, today, or our post show.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it a little bit before we went into the news.
Yeah, we'll give a little sum up, a little summary. So it was a pretty fun, decent enough episode. We had the big thing, which was the Trick or Street fight between Boogs and Nakamura versus Corbin and Madcap Moss, which was a ton of fun. Even though they had the 24/7 crowd and the interruption to end the match. We also got a very fun New Day versus the Usos. We had Sonya reffing Shayna versus Naomi, which I did not even really watch the match. I was too busy looking up who Shayna's gear was supposed to be.
Oh God.
I couldn't find it. I didn't see anyone tweeting about it.
Definitely something.
It seems like it's supposed to be, and I'll probably, be annoyed when I find out that it's somebody I know. We had the knighting of Kofi, which was fun. Drew versus Mustapha, which is leading to something that is not so great.
I'm a little nervous about it. A little. skeptical, if you will.
If it was anybody but WWE handling this, or you know what, I'll say anybody but a professional wrestling company doing this, it would be fine. But it's a professional wrestling company, so I doubt it'll be fine doing the whole "you all hate me because I'm Muslim. My name's Mustapha." So, I mean, I'm holding out hope because the last story with Mustapha was a lot of fun. It was very well done, but it's WWE after all.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll hold out hope, but it makes me a little
Nervous, yeah. Miriam said it kind of feels like the writers for the brands got switched around too, because I trusted Smackdown and now not so much.
Yeah, it. Also, the fact that we've got the 24/7 championship on SmackDown now is like,
but he's on
those things
Raw.
where I'm like,
Reggie's supposed to be on Raw.
and yet.
We also got Charlotte Flair versus Shotzi and a Shotzi heel turn, but also a Sasha face turn. Very confusing, unmotivated stuff. A lot of people liked it on Twitter. I saw. I just like the fact that they're establishing who Shotzi is. But all of it feels so unmotivated, just like the whole Damian Priest thing. And a lot of and the theme changes, all of this new season stuff is just so unmotivated.
Yeah, feels like we've just been dropped into the middle of a story.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much the summary. We'll dive in deeper once we get into the recap. But for now, Liz, why don't we talk about some news?
We got a bit of news. Let me. So loud. You hear me from a mile away. A lot of news. I don't really know where to begin or where to end. Laptop's moving really slow. That's very weird.
Miriam said Pinfall Podcast ASMR edition.
God.
Also, when I lean back, the zipper like pokes into my back, and it's not fun at all.
Ooh, that's fun. I was complaining about how this jacket was like super cold to put on at first.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like I am like in a little trash bag. Like I'm sweating so much. It's fine. If we go out tomorrow, I'll be warm.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so let's just start with Major League Wrestling. They've reportedly released several people. They released Buku Dao, Beastman, and Leo Bryan. Then they released several articles on this. Jordan Oliver. And then they released Vance Warner,
who I believe requested his release. It was either Jordan Oliver or Vance Warner that requested his release.
I don't know. Let's see. It
was according to Sean Ross Sapp, I believe. Or Fightful. Or both.
Yeah, I don't know. Then on top of that, Ring of Honor is 2 days ago they released everyone from their contracts.
Well, at the end of the year. Their contracts will last until they'll last as long as this year.
Yeah. So Final Battle's going to happen, and then they are taking the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I don't know. They anticipate returning to live events in April for the Super Card of Honor, the new fan-focused product, and provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. Which, I don't know, that doesn't sound fantastic to me, that's for sure.
Yeah. A lot of people are blaming Sinclair for this, which is their TV distributor. And the thing that's weird is, or the thing that's kind of digging the grave for Ring of Honor is that they don't have a partnership with a distributor. They are a distributor. Like, they are Sinclair. They're owned by Sinclair, and they're basically in their pocket. But like Miriam said, Final Battle will be something special.
Yeah.
As kind of a, because we don't know if they will successfully come back. Unfortunately, they could have this goodbye at Final Battle and not be able to restructure in the way they want to.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, we're hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Suck.
And we're wishing the best to all of the Ring of Honor wrestlers. A lot of them will find work elsewhere because they are extremely talented. Just to name a few: Jonathan Gresham, Danhausen, Dalton Castle, Roxy,
All Jane Taylor promotion.
Jane Taylor Promotions, the Briscoes. I know Roxy, when she signed with Ring of Honor, she was contacted by AEW. So we may be seeing her there once her contract's up.
It's a shame. She literally just won the women's title.
Yeah.
Like,
and she will forever be the champion.
Yeah, I guess.
First and last.
Also, speaking of MLW, Enzo Amore's match opponent has been announced. Hello, kitty cat. Oh, she stopped moving the moment I moved.
Nice.
He is fighting Matt Cross for War Chamber on November 6th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, if you want to go.
Okay.
Also, Sami Callihan gave an update on his ankle. He apparently snapped it in half.
Oh.
Yeah. He said he's good. It's going great recovery-wise. He said he's 4 weeks into recovery right now. He finally got the stitches out from the surgery and is able to do like a little range of motion. He's not going to be able to put any pressure on it for another 4 to 5 weeks. And then he can start rehab.
Oh my god. That sucks. We'll wish him the best.
Yeah. Also, Hacksaw Jim Duggan announced that he has prostate cancer. Apparently, he announced this in a video. He's previously survived kidney cancer. And he had to get emergency surgery. This past, I think earlier today. So I don't know what the prognosis is, but hopefully everything is going to be okay with him. Best wishes.
Yeah.
Okay. On to some AEW news. Jim Ross is opening up a pot farm.
Good for him.
Headlines I didn't expect to say today. He's opening a pot farm in Oklahoma. Or a cannabis farm, I'm sorry.
Same thing.
Apparently, it's him and his daughter. They have a lawyer that's looking into all this for them, so I think it'll be fun for them. Fun little father-daughter adventure. And then also, Alberto Del Rio's trial has been once again postponed. It was originally scheduled, I feel this list keeps getting longer every time I have to say it, but it was originally scheduled for January 2021. It was pushed back to May 3rd, then to August 2nd, then to October 25th this past Monday, and now it is going to be pushed until December 13th.
Wonder how many years he can push it back.
At this point, it's dude, spend less time in prison. You wouldn't, but at least you'd have at least a year under your belt at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. There's some new guys backstage for producer tryouts for the WWE. One of them is Petey Williams. Sorry, my brain shut off. And James Yun. They are both looking to apparently get new roles as producers there, which I think is interesting because I didn't realize that there was a push to get new producers. Which maybe it's for the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since apparently they like have Tyson handcuffed in the back somewhere and not allowed to produce women's matches anymore. It's just Shane fucking Helms, which is like the worst thing that could have happened, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Love Shane Helms, but also
not the way he's been doing the women's matches.
Mm-hmm.
And there is some news that apparently Charlotte Flair, I don't know why I just say Flair, I think it's pretty obvious, was pulled from media appearances. Apparently Sean Ross Sapp was like talking about how it was going to be really fun, and how all of a sudden, as like he was talking about it being like a fun time to see her like talk to all the press, canceled it. There wasn't really a reason, but I have to imagine that it has something to do with everything that's been going on.
It most likely has to do with the backstage stuff, the tension there, plus the Ric Flair Dark Side of the Ring stuff. I doubt WWE wants to face the repercussions of that. So
yeah. Also, I don't know where this is. Our last piece of news, Chad Gable got his Master of Fine Arts with a media design degree.
congrats to him.
He graduated from Full Sail University. I think like either today or yesterday. And now he's like doing, or he's got like a degree in like stuff like motion graphics and animation and shit like that. So, I mean, that's a pretty impressive thing to do. So
Yeah. An Olympian and a fucking media designer.
yeah. What can't he do? Really a jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all the news I have.
All right. Well, then let's jump into our recap of the episode. It was a pretty jam-packed episode. We had, we started off with Charlotte Flair coming out to the ring. She had this another version of the Thanos gear, the robe. No kind of collar thing. Instead, it was like she had the gauntlet around her wrist. It was more low key. But she said, as more things change, the more they stay the same. How many times am I Smackdown Women's Champion now? I don't keep count. That's what you do. Because none of you can do what I can do. I am the face of this whole company. The most decorated woman in sports entertainment history. When anyone else is in the locker room wins a title, everyone is very excited. When I win a title, it's just another Friday. After last week's drama has finally been restored, or after last week's drama, order has finally been restored. These women need a real leader. And I was like, well, they need a role model, Bailey. But Sasha Banks comes out telling us that they really need a boss. She said, did you say leader? Nobody's buying that. You don't care about helping the women in the back. You care about holding them down. When is my SmackDown Women's Championship match? Charlotte says, this is a new era of SmackDown. We all know you think you deserve a title shot. Isn't that selfish? I've given you a chance after chance. I've always beaten you. I think a new face deserves a contender championship opportunity. Sasha said, oh, are you scared? Shotzi comes out. She says, Charlotte, if you're looking for someone you've never faced before, then I'm your girl. Charlotte responds with, okay, she did come to the ring in a tank, so she must be ready for battle. You're going to get your match right now. And then we get Charlotte versus Shotsy. which they said was a tight championship contender match, but I don't think it really was.
I don't know. I think it was, because why else was Shotzi like screaming, "You ruined my chance"?
I don't know.
So Charlotte's kind of off to a pretty good start, but a boot to the face kind of slows her down just a hair. Shotzi basically annoys the shit out of Charlotte for most of the night because it's just, or most of the match because it's kind of just like back and forth. No real obvious person on top. We get a drop kick to Shotzi and a Hurricane Rana to Charlotte. Shotzi, after a point, hits Charlotte with a small package that nearly wins her the whole fucking thing, which I got like a little like jumpy about it. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But Charlotte kicks out. She gets up. She clotheslines the head off of Shotzi's shoulders. Shotzi then goes up top, but Flair rolls out of the ring. Sasha distracts Charlotte. Shotzi dives out onto her. Sort of. Wasn't the best dive in the world. Anyways. Later on, Charlotte's going for the moonsault on Shotzi ringside, but Shotzi gets into the ring, hits Charlotte with a top rope Hurricane Rana. A big boot to the face sends Shotzi ringside, though. Charlotte ends up going to fly out onto her, but Shotzi avoids it. Charlotte then lands on her feet. She gets super kicked. Back in the ring, we get a backbreaker on Shotzi and a moonsault that doesn't make it the first time, so she does it the second time because that's how thing.
It's Andrade's thing, I think.
Is it?
I thought so.
Bianca also does it.
Huh?
Bianca also does it.
I
don't know.
I thought Bianca did it because Charlotte did it. Like, that was kind of her response. I know Charlotte took the fake out elbow from Andrade. I think she also took the backflip moonsault as well.
Yeah, no, I kind of thought it was Bianca's thing, or just like a thing. Anyways, we get a backbreaker on Shotzi and a moonsault. Doesn't make it the first time, hits it the second time. Finally, Charlotte hits the natural selection to end the match, to win. And then all hell breaks loose.
Yep, Shotzi snaps on Sasha. Starts beating the shit out of her, turns heel. It's all very unmotivated. And throughout the entire match, Sasha was basically playing coach in the sidelines, saying one thing only. She was only saying a single thing that that was the only thing she could think of. Yeah, get on her. You
gotta stay on her, Shotzi. You've said it a million times, Sasha. She knows.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're starting a Shotzi Sasha feud, which will be fun. But
it's a big feud for her to like kind of have like as her entry, you know?
Yeah. But I do wonder if that's the feud, if that's like a solid feud, who's gonna be the challenger for Charlotte? Like, who's gonna be the challenger? I mean, maybe Natalya? Or Bailey? I doubt Bailey is coming back.
Survivor Series.
Oh yeah, they gotta build up to Survivor Series, so. But I could have sworn I heard that they weren't planning for Charlotte versus Becky. I think they're planning on somebody losing their title before Survivor Series. But anyway. So
I don't know.
We then have an interview with Jeff Hardy. He says, "I'm super pumped to be back on Smackdown. Maybe I'll challenge for a title I've never held before, aka the Universal Championship." Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss walk in. Corbin says, "You get to watch me and Moss beat up Shinsuke and Boogs." And then Madcap Moss tells him that the joke, I didn't write it down because I didn't understand the joke. It's like, why don't witches have kids?
Because all of their boyfriends have Halloweenies.
That one was lame. That was a bad joke.
It wasn't good.
So then we get a promo from Adam Pearce. He's just Zoom calling in. He says Brock's actions were disgusting, an act of cowardice. How dare he? I give every piece of myself to this company, and I will not be disrespected. That will not happen again. I called Lesnar and informed him myself that due to his actions, I'm hereby fining him the sum of $1 million. It's only 5% of the money he made in Saudi Arabia. Then we have an interview with Paul Heyman. He says, he's asked by Kayla how Roman would respond to the suspension and all that, and the ban or the fine. He says, I know how Roman would respond to this. He'd show up and smash everyone in sight, but he doesn't have to do that because Roman smashed Brock at Crown Jewel. Adam Pearce, what an annoying name for an annoying man. How dare he go into the ring and speak about the name Brock Lesnar? And he goes on about Brock Lesnar. And then he kind of stops himself and says, at least that's how I think Brock would respond. Please leave me alone, and walks away. We then get Drew McIntyre's open challenge. He says, Drew McIntyre is in an ass-kicking mood. I'm sure you don't want open mic night. How does everyone feel about open challenge night right now? Who has the testicular fortitude to fight the Scottish warrior? Mustafa Ali comes out. He says, we get it, you're big and bad, but I'm better. I've got more athletic talent in my pinky than in your entire body. I'm quicker, I'm more agile, and you don't even compare when it comes to in-ring talent. So I'm going to be the one to beat you tonight. And then we get Drew McIntyre versus Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, and it's not much of a match, honestly. Drew ends up tossing Mustafa, chops at him. Moose chops back, but Drew sends him flying. The boot to the face and a drop kick. Drew gets doubled over, but after a multitude of strikes, Drew ends up just like launching Mustafa with an overhead suplex, and then another one, and then a neck breaker, and then a kip up, and then Mustafa sends Drew shoulder first in the post. He goes for the 450 splash. Drew avoids it. He goes for the Claymore. Mustafa avoids it. Eventually, Drew McIntyre gets the Kimura locked in, and he wins. Which, you know what? A little submission victory for him. We haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah. Wonder who he stole that from.
I forgot that Britt was fighting Abaddon. I was just like, who the fuck is that?
So after the match, Mustafa gets on the mic, and he says, I've got something to get off my chest. You people choose to fight for Drew, and we start the you people fucking promo. You choose to root against me, and the only reason you choose to root against me is because my name is Mustafa Ali. Do not trust where WWE would take this promo, or with this story.
Yeah, it was very weird. The promo itself was just kind of like a little off kilter. But they kind of tried to do this before with Retribution, and they cut several really good promos.
Yeah.
That like made sense, but then they did to Retribution what they did to Retribution, and it was.
Yeah, and we did get a lot of the well, I guess the Mansoor Mustafa stuff. None of it was really about, like, the storyline wasn't about them being Muslim. It was just a big deal when it was two Muslims fighting each other at a pay-per-view.
Yeah. I mean, you know, they were both very happy that they were able to do that at least.
Right. I mean, I trust Mustafa enough to know that he won't let it go far enough to where it's like using stereotypes. And I know Vince trusts Mustafa. So this might be handled better than we think.
Yeah, it might. I also have some faith that Mustafa has some room to push back.
Yeah.
On stuff that he doesn't agree on.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, like we come out of this and we're like, damn, we shouldn't have been worried.
Yeah. All right. So then we had Woods and Kofi backstage. They're just walking next to each other, and you see Hit Row watching from the side. Woods says, "Hit Row, welcome to my kingdom. You did well in the ring last week in your debut." Top Dollar says, "We appreciate it, especially from the king himself." Ashante says, "Shouldn't we be respecting the king?" And they all simultaneously bow and say, "We are not worthy. We are not worthy." Kofi says, "You do call yourself Hit Row, so perhaps spit some of that hot fire for your king." And then they just go, "King Woods," in like the Hit Row melody. We then get a Xia Li video package. I thought we were going to be getting Aaliyah's debut today, but I guess I was wrong.
Where'd you hear that?
She posted on her Instagram, like, "Do you want to see me debut?" or something. So it was just my assumption.
Maybe that was her being like, please?
Yeah. We then had the knighting of Kofi Kingston. Kofi says, "Listen to the creed, wink wink, of King Woods." Xavier says, "Pennsylvania, 'tis I, your king, King Woods. Last week I received my cape of defense, scepter of seduction, and Kofi placed the crown on my head, making me king. But everyone knows a king is only as strong as the company he keeps. Your heart is true. You're a pal, a confidant. I would like to bestow the highest of honors to you. I now bestow this honor upon you, making you Sir Kofi Kingston, the hand of the king. Rejoice." And the Usos come out. And this bit was hilarious. They're going, "Whoa! Whoa!" And with every whoa, they would propel themselves a little more down the ramp. And then they wind up with one last whoa!
That was funny as fuck. And it was funny because, like, they knew it was funny.
Yeah. And this whole promo was just such great chemistry between all four of these guys. You say, "Hold on, Us." There they go again. It's the Usos and the New Day. We got King Woods and the King's Hand, Sir Kofi Kingston. What's that look?
Hater's hair is still the reddish blonde.
Well, no, that's pre-taped. This is taped on Wednesday. Yeah. She's back to black and blonde.
I'm still gonna be in love with her, I think.
Okay.
I've decided.
It said we got King Woods and the King's Hand, Sir Kofi Kingston. Well, it's the right hand man right here, Us. A lot has changed since you left. This is our show. We are the ones. Halloween is on Sunday. What are you doing playing in costume? Xavier says, "We got a little jealousy here because we're here looking crispy clean. Well, you've been wearing the same thing since 2018. I can't have the bloodline on this royal carpet." One of the Usos says, "You won't be laughing when I kick that crown off that big ass head." Xavier then says, "Because of your disgusting insolence, it will be the Usos versus the New Day in a trial by combat." Jay says, "Challenge accepted. But is that scepter real gold? Can I touch it?" These guys are just fucking having fun, and it is the best.
I think that's like the one fun thing right now is that, like, as far as tag is concerned, the men's tag division is fun.
Yeah.
We're having a good time.
Yeah. Even the next segment was a ton of fun. Even though I can't stand half the people in the match, it was a ton of fun.
Oh my god.
But Kofi then smacks Jay's hand away. Jimmy attacks Kofi, thus ending the segment. And then we move on after commercial break to Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss in a trick or street fight. This was equally amazing, but also annoying. Well, not equally. It was a little bit.
Why do you think it was annoying?
The 24/7 crowd running in.
Okay.
And then the interference ending the match at the end.
I didn't hate that.
I mean, I liked that it's Angel and Umberto kind of getting more into the spotlight, but like, let them attack afterwards. Let the clean win happen. You could have had the clean win on Rick Boogs, who's not a champion, have it be fine. I don't know. And then they come in and start beating up the loser.
Yeah, I didn't mind that much, honestly. And usually I hate the interference just as much as you, but I didn't hate it that much. So Cat Moss and Corbin attack immediately. Corbin gets a boot to the face and then like a sliding knee from Shinsuke. Boogs launches Moss, goes to follow up with like a guitar solo, but he gets a kendo stick to the back from Corbin. And this is the first time that Michael Cole realizes he doesn't know what the fuck candy corn is. He said Halloween colored kendo sticks and then was like, candy corn. We're like, yes, Michael, you got it.
And we should also add that Pat McAfee is having the time of his life with this match.
Yeah. I've got a couple of things from him written down in here, boy. So. And the 24/7 crowd runs in. It's very annoying because the 24/7 belt should not be on SmackDown. It should be on Raw. We actually have time for that shit. Also, Drew Gulak should be wrestling real matches, and the Viking Raiders should not be in there, or the fucking Creed brothers.
Yeah, I thought I saw the Creed brothers, and I saw somebody posted on Twitter saying that the Creed brothers made an appearance on SmackDown. I swear to God, if Diamond Mine gets fucked again, I am going to be so mad.
Cat Moss gets his head shoved into a bowl of water and apples. Comes up with one.
Good for him.
Yeah. Some talent. I think we came back from a commercial or something and Pat just screams, "Son of a witch!" It's like, oh God. That's when Michael Cole called the kendo sticks candy cane striped.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knew what the fuck was happening. Michael Cole was like halfway to fucking cracking his ass off. Like laughter. Like towards the end of this match anyways. It was Corbin ends up getting a boot to the face and tosses a bowl of candy he was using to assault Boogs with into the crowd. And then he and Madcap Moss go to powerbomb Shinsuke into a table with party favors, kind of. But Boogs interferes, throwing pumpkins at Corbin, hitting him with a skeleton. Pat loses his shit entirely at this point.
It's because the crowd really wanted the pumpkins to be used, and they were chanting pumpkins. And then when they finally got used, Pat exploded with the crowd. There was a point where Pat like screamed. Like, yeah.
We end up with a fallaway slam to Shinsuke from Moss and a deep six to Boogs from Corbin. Corbin gets an enziguri to the head. Pat calls it a horror show with an H.
What does he mean by that?
I think he means that horror and whore sound exactly the same. I think that was the point he was trying to get across there.
You think so? I mean, whore also has H.
It starts with a W.
Yeah.
That was the vibe I got. Boogs ends up going up top to attack Moss, and Corbin gets hit to attack Moss and Corbin. But then two pumpkin-headed ghouls that we had seen originally halfway through the match because they weren't very good at hiding.
Like sneaking around.
Yeah. Boogs gets hit by the two of them. They both have kendo sticks. He then gets pinned by Moss. Turns out it's Angel and Umberto under the...
We thought it was MSK.
It's just the way that like they were like vibing out for like a couple seconds, and I was like, that's not really Angel and Umberto doing that kind of like that's not really their vibe. Mm-hmm. But maybe it is. Things have changed and they dance now more than. Well, I guess Angel is always kind of a rhythmic little fella.
Yeah, I mean they're cousins. They're buddy. So after that, we then had an interview with Sonya Deville. She said she's asked about Naomi versus Shayna happening later, and she says she's asked about bias. She said, "I'm a professional. There is no bias." Sami Zayn then walks in and says, "It's a mistake not having me, the locker room leader, on the show tonight. You'll need me in your corner." And then we fade away from that to go to the next thing. But it definitely was intentional because WWE on Fox tweeted like that has to be a mistake. Very much sarcastically.
Yeah.
But speaking of not being on the show, Roman was not on the show at all tonight.
Maybe he had Halloween plans. He's got a bunch of kids.
Maybe. So then we get Naomi versus Shayna Baszler with Sonya Deville as the ref.
Yeah, this was hardly a fucking match. Shayna quickly goes for the Kirifuda. Naomi gets out of it. There's a flying head scissors to Shayna. Shayna ends up getting rolled up by Naomi. Sonya doesn't count. Shayna reverses it. Sonya counts like incredibly fast. Then match is over. Shayna wins. Gets the Kirifuda on Naomi just for good measure after the final bell.
But doesn't Naomi fight back too? I thought she fought back. I saw a tweet saying that she gets her revenge or something. I don't know. I did not watch the match really because it was so short. I looked down to look up something and missed all of it. So then we had an interview with the New Day. Xavier says, "Of course, people will come after the crown. This man next to me, the Hand of the King, will make sure nothing goes wrong." Kofi says, "I was named Hand of the King to protect King Woods. This is officially for the kingdom." Xavier says, "I believe you and I will dole out our very first ass whooping." We then go to Naomi backstage. She says, "If Sonya decides to step back in the ring, I'll be waiting for her. If Shayna has the guts to step to me face to face, all she'll be seeing is my rear view and then some." And then we get the Usos versus the New Day in a very fun match that ended weird.
Yeah. So we start with Jay versus Xavier. A right hand flattens Jay. Kofi gets in with the flying crossbody. Xavier goes to eventually later on in the match. Xavier goes to drop kick Jay. Kofi ends up diving out onto both of the Usos. It's tossed into the one and only Mike Rome, who's pulling double duty now apparently. Kofi then, after the commercial break that follows that, he's being just fucking beat up by Jay. He gets a hit check into the face. Xavier gets in. He's running rampant. It's a hot tag. He hits the side Russian leg sweep to Jimmy before a drop kick and then some like machine gun chops. There's a failed Trouble in Paradise from Kofi and then a pop-up Samoan drop. Kofi gets double super kicked. Xavier ends up distracting. Kofi gets his knees up on a frog splash, kind of turning the tides a bit. And then there's a super kick to Kofi, but Xavier's the legal man, so this doesn't even matter. He takes Jimmy off of Kofi and just eases him into a roll-up. And that's where we end.
Yeah. Very weird having the champs be pinned cleanly with no kind of interference. It's regular tag team shenanigans. What happened to the storylines of just like, oh, these guys lost, so they need to build themselves back up and work hard and practice more to be back on the level of being a challenger? Like, I feel like everyone needs to be protected now. Like, only, in my opinion, only the champions should be protected. And everyone else you can have lose because they can win later. You know? Like have them work matches against like lesser people so that they can, you know, get their step back. Like maybe Kofi and Xavier could have lost and then been like, we've really been focusing on this King gimmick too much and we've kind of lost our step. Let's bring it back a little bit. Even though I don't want them to do that at all. But that could be the story. You got a story there. That can lead to more matchups.
Yeah, it was so seemed like an afterthought the way that this match ended.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, that's how WWE operates. They wanted the New Day Uso moment. They wanted that matchup to get a big pop. But they didn't think about who wins.
It was a good match too, so it's like there was no need for there to be a weird ending. I just don't understand. I mean, I guess the only thing that like I can like really say like I guess makes sense is like you didn't want Xavier and Kofi to lose because they're the royalty now, and they didn't want the Usos to lose because they're the champs, and like they had to kind of make a choice. And I guess they value the King of the Ring gimmick more than they value the champs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. All right, so now that we finished with that, you want to talk about the bests of the night? Talk about the promo of the night first, and I have an easy answer. I'm sure you'll agree with me. It's the knighting of Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
It's a ton of fun. Yeah, great time, ton of fun. Those guys have a ton of chemistry together. So, now that we've got that, let's talk about the wrestler of the night. All right, I'm gonna pick two. You give me your pick. All right.
Okay.
Rick Boogs and Xavier Woods. You could even throw in Jimmy Uso in there to make it 3.
I'd say Rick Boogs.
Okay, that's who I was leaning more towards. All right, and finally, let's talk about the match of the night. Oh, I forgot to do the top 10 update. I'll do it after this. And if you're watching, if you're watching the live show, leave a question in the chat for our question segment, and we'll get to it after our bests of the night. If you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify, well, I guess if you're watching on YouTube, leave a question in the comments. And we'll get to it in the next episode. If you're watching on Spotify or listening on Spotify, come join the live show, twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast. We'd love to chat with you. All right, so match of the night. As always, we go from worst to the best. And Liz will say if she agrees. So to start off, 3 out of 10. Naomi versus Shayna Baszler. I don't need to elaborate. Next up, 4 out of 10, Drew McIntyre versus Mustafa Ali. Wasn't much of a match. It was very much a Smackdown. Yeah, Mustafa showed off a little bit, so it was fine. It accomplished what it needed to. Drew looked strong still. I don't think Mustafa was moved down a peg at all from it, so it was fine. All right, next up, 6 out of 10. Charlotte Flair versus Shotzi. It was fun. I mean, both wrestlers are very good. I'm actually gonna move a match up from where I ranked it.
Oh,
yeah.
It's gonna change it.
All right. So yeah, Charlotte versus Shotzi, a lot of fun. It was great to see Shotzi in the main roster match against a huge talent. So hopefully we get some cooler stuff with Shotzi in the future. And I'm also glad that Shotzi didn't win because, again, protect your champions. Next up, 7 out of 10, the Usos versus the New Day. Very fun match. The finish wasn't the best. You should have had the Usos win. Because you can always have the New Day get more wins, build himself back up after a loss like this. But your champions are champions for a reason. But still, very, very fun match. All these guys put in incredible work. And then finally, my pick for match of the night is an 8 out of 10. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs versus Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss in a trick or street fight. This was a blast. After this match, everything else was just boring in comparison. Like, this was a blast. Everything from Pat's commentary to fucking all the pumpkins used. It's great. And the skeleton.
I honestly, like, when they announced this match, I was like, ugh, whatever. Like, I know how this goes. We've done this a million times.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a crappy match, and it's going to result in, like, I don't know, and something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was so not excited.
Yeah.
This was so much fun.
It was.
This was the first time that I've watched WWE, and I was like, damn, I hope this match goes on for longer.
Yeah. All right. So, let's see. Do I have Twitter? Can you do me a favor, since I can't use my hands on my phone? Can you open the Twitter and open up the DMs? Because Milam DM'd us a question. And while you do that, I'm gonna give a little update on the top 10 wrestlers ELO rankings for this week. So, to start off, and this is based on win-loss and ELO and all that. It's not opinion in any way. So, number 10. One half of the Impact Tag Champs, Carl Anderson, MSK are now fully out of the top 10. Number 9, the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. Number 8, the other half of the Impact Tag Champs, Doc Gallows. Number 7, the WWE Champion, Big E. Number 6, Sting's best friend, Darby Allin. Number 5, the shortest reigned Impact World Champion, Josh Alexander. Number 4, the AAA Mega Champion and the AEW World Champion for now, Kenny by God Omega. Number 3, one of the Raw Tag Team Champions, Riddle. Number 2, the head of the table, the Tribal Chief, the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. And number 1, above all, he can be your Angle or your Demon, the United States Champion, Damian Priest. And there you go. There's the top 10 of the week. And I'll give another update on Twitter on Sunday. Things might really change by then. Okay, so let's talk about, let's answer some questions. Why don't we answer the one Milam DM'd first?
Yes. So Milam asked if we believe that wrestlers use the word bitch too much on all promotions, I guess. He said that in his opinion, it is overused. I have to say I agree. I think that there's a lot of other creative ways to insult somebody, and I feel like bitch is a very like lazy cop out.
Yeah, I think in WWE they say bitch too much. I think in AEW they say shit too much. They kind of have their limit. Like the worst word they can say, they just say that as much as they can. Because it's what they can get away with. Yeah, like you said, there's more creative ways to insult somebody.
Yeah, I think half of your job is improv.
Yeah.
Improv a good insult.
And it doesn't help that they say bitch like it's some big bomb they're dropping.
Yeah. I think like the only time that I've heard it and I was like, that's a swear word, is when Braun Breaker used it.
Yeah.
I think that was like the one time I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Every other time I'm like, Chris Jericho fucking the way he was talking about Alexis Van Zant or whatever, Paige Van Zant.
Paige Van Zandt, yeah.
Um, that was like so cheap.
Well, I mean that whole American Top Team Inner Circle feud has been so lame with the promos, so corny, and dumb. I haven't been liking that feud in the slightest, except for the Sammy Guevara Ethan Page match. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So Miriam asked in the chat, what Halloween movies have you guys been watching to get into the spooky spirit lately? Also, does Pepita have a costume for Halloween? She doesn't, but she's a raccoon. That's her costume.
Oh, Pepita has, because the back on her face, her shelter name was Luchador.
Oh,
So
yeah, she's a
we're just
luchador.
telling people that she's a luchador.
Yeah.
And hopefully we don't stir up any bad memories of the shelter. Poor thing, actually, tomorrow before our party, the poor thing has to get blood work done for the second time in like 2 days. And I feel very bad for her.
Yeah.
Make your best thoughts for the kitty cat.
Yes, she has high calcium levels, apparently.
Yes, we have to get more tests done.
So the first question, what Halloween movies have you been watching to get into the spooky spirit? Liz, I know you have been watching very many horror movies, but we did watch Halloween Kills together. That god-awful movie.
Mark did not like the movie one bit.
I am a big horror movie fan, and Halloween is my favorite horror franchise. I loved the last one in 2018. This one fucking sucked. Thank you, Miriam. It was a terrible movie.
It was. They were. We ended up drizzling some alcohol to get through it, which made it fun because like then we were having fun together.
Yeah.
Even I'm not the biggest horror movie fan in the world. Like, some wuss.
Mm-hmm.
But even I was like, I don't know about this one though. This is like when you watched Michael Myers like actually stab the dude, I was like, after the fact, like when the old guy on the kitchen table or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like.
But also, why did he kill children? He's never been his thing at all. Anyway, I wanted to watch more horror movies this year. I wanted to do like a Halloween movie a day, but I never got the chance to. But I did watch The Mummy, 1959 Mummy, and I watched Tucker and Dale versus Evil 2 days ago. And I also showed our friend Eldon the original Halloween. I feel like there's another horror movie we watched together.
We watched the video game Man Phasmophobia.
Oh.
I watched my horror movie for this spooky season was I watched an ASMR video where this girl played Phasmophobia and tried to do an ASMR. A wuss.
Mm-hmm. God, what other? I feel like I watched another horror movie this year.
I don't know.
I feel like
we watched Scream.
Oh yes, we did watch Scream, my favorite movie of all time. Yes. I think that was it. Unfortunately.
Pete Ulrich is us.
But also want to shout out the movie Hush, one of my favorite horror movies.
Hush is like
It's amazing.
Somebody on Tumblr, I think that's where it must have been where I saw a gift set of her writing on her laptop in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see the man in the like doorway, like the glass door.
Yeah.
You see him open the door and come in and like stand behind her, and I was like, this is why that movie made me fucking insane. Like, I will never feel secure again in my entire life. There will never be a point in time.
Okay, so Milam asked on the last Smackdown episode, who do you think is the best promo in wrestling right now on a consistent basis? I'd say Eddie Kingston.
Eddie's really good. Miro.
Charlotte's really good.
Charlotte's annoying the shit out of me.
Okay.
It's like driven me crazy.
Roman's consistently good.
Roman's pretty good.
He's gotten a lot better since in the last few months. Since then, he's been consistently good, but I think Eddie all around has been amazing.
I feel like Eddie's one of the ones who I'm like, please don't stop doing this.
Yeah.
Like, please don't stop talking. I'm enjoying the talking. And also, Lance Archer's gotten a lot better with his promos lately.
Yeah.
You know, bless his soul.
I'm
trying to think. I feel like there was somebody recently that was like, damn, they give really good promos.
Josh Alexander gives great promos.
Josh Alexander does give really good promos, and I feel like it was Impact.
Come on.
Oh, was it Saban?
Yeah, he's all right in my opinion.
Also, this isn't quite the same because NJPW works a little differently promo-wise.
Zack Sabre Jr.
If there's one man that I want to, like, I want him to shut up so badly. I don't want him to shut up ever. Zack Sabre Jr. He does not know how to shut the fuck up, and it's incredible. It is my favorite, like, characteristic about him. But I think he's really good at giving promos, and just improvising for like a solid 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I think Eddie Kingston's definitely something fun to watch.
There's also Don Callis.
Yeah. I remember the fucking line that Eddie had when he was like talking about talking to Miro, and he was like, take my hand and we'll walk through hell together, and if you're lucky you'll see your God's heaven. I was like,
yeah, and God. Then there's the Redeem D's nuts. The best line ever spoken in professional wrestling.
Oh boy.
I think that's all the questions that we have. Let me just check this comment here if we already answered it. Yeah, we did. Okay. All right, so that's all the questions we have. Liz, remind everyone where we can be found now.
We can be found on Spotify. Please don't look for the newest episode. I've got to upload the newest episodes. It's been a very busy week for Elizabeth. But the newest episodes will be up there very shortly. I'll try to upload them before the end of next week. Actually, I'll try to upload them before the Monday Night Raw podcast from next week goes up.
Yeah.
Because I want them to come up in order. But yeah, please give us a check out on Spotify, follow us, like us, and yeah.
And stick around, everyone, because we'll be rating a friend of the show after we go.
And yeah, so please tune in on Monday for Monday Night Raw. We'll be talking about Monday Night Raw. I hope you all have a fantastic Halloween. I hope it's the most fun Halloween you could ever imagine. Hope it's spooky.
Yeah.
Hope you get scared. Or if you don't want to be scared, I hope you're not scared.
I hope you do the scaring.
I hope you're the scarer.
If you enjoyed, follow and subscribe. Our YouTube is The Pinfall Podcast. We are also The Pinfall Podcast on Spotify. Join us at the live show, twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast, and our Twitter @Pinfall Podcast. I'm at The Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eliza Elaine23. And stick around Twitch because we will be rating friend of the show T-Rex94. So Stick around, give them a hello, give them a big old thumbs up, and a lot of love. All right, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.